Every Monday to Friday, this is Peter Lewis's Money Talk. Money Talk.
Good morning, this is Peter Lewis, welcoming you to a new week of Money Talk for Monday the 18th of February. We have reaction to an analysis of the day's top business and finance news coming up. In today's business and finance headlines, mainland China's markets reopened this morning after the Lunar New Year holidays. Hopes are high for a catch-up rally in Shanghai and Shenzhen after the Hang Seng China Enterprises Index of Chinese companies listed in Hong Kong rebounded 4.7% last week and reducing its losses for 2024 so far to 3.6%. The People's Bank of China left the rate on its one-year policy loans, known as the medium-term lending facility, unchanged at 2.5% on Sunday, as expected. Early travel and spending data from the Lunar New Year holiday offered some signs of a pickup in consumer spending. Online hotel bookings and spending on delivery giant Meituan's platform saw hefty gains. Official figures showed people made more journeys than ever before, with tourism revenue also at a new high.
Peter Lewis's Money Talk.
I'm joined now by Andy Sher, who's a Shanghai-based independent economist. Morning, Andy.
Good morning, Peter.
Let me get your thoughts about the spending data that's been coming out of China over the Lunar New Year holidays. It seems to be pretty good initially, doesn't it? We seem to have seen increased spending on platforms like Meituan, on hotel spending. What's your sense of how it's gone over the last week or so?
Yeah, we're seeing the continuing trend of a big growth in domestic tourism. That appears to be not just a one-time thing, and people are really love to get around. And it's partly thanks to the high-speed rail system that has made traveling inside China cheap, fast. So I think that the demand is very strong. And you look at Shanghai's airports compared to last year during the similar period, up quite a lot, like 80%. Yeah.
Do you think we're back to where we were now pre sort of pandemic in terms of holiday spending?
Way before, way above.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that something new is happening. They are not traveling overseas like before. I think that there's a big change in spending pattern. And overseas destinations, obviously, the international environment is not that really friendly to Chinese tourists. This one. The second is that Chinese tourists now feel that it's not safe in many countries. So that's a new factor that people changing spending behavior.
Are they interested in coming to Hong Kong?
Well, Hong Kong offers shopping. I think that there we see a significant change in preference. People like experience. Hong Kong doesn't offer much. Hong Kong is just a shopping center.
Whereas elsewhere in China, there's lots of beautiful scenery and things to do as well that may be more attractive. Are they spending?
People want to have things to do.
And are they spending as much on these visits, or are they sort of tightening their belts a bit? And when they do these trips, being more cost conscious?
Well, I think that the market is highly competitive inside China. We see that the services like hotel services, lots of places have upgraded, but the prices have not. Sometimes have gone down. So it's very competitive. So, good value is also a reason why the demand is up a lot. So in a way that Chinese domestic tourism is in a virtuous cycle. It's a big market, very competitive. The service is a good value, and the high-speed rail offers convenience, speed, and a low price.
So, what does this mean going forward? Now that the holidays are over, is this enough to sort of rebuild consumer confidence and keep that consumer spending going over the coming weeks and months?
I think consumer spending is still okay for middle class. Now, last year, domestic tourism rose by more than double to over 4% of GDP. And probably this year, we'll continue to see 20 to 30% growth. So it will add another 1 percentage point or a bit more to GDP. So I think that it's. But the high end, you go to high end, very expensive restaurants or luxury shops. There you see demand is really crashing.
Right.
Because their patrons are really tied up with the sectors that are deflating, like property and shadow banking, and also internet sector is not doing well. These are where cash-rich people used to get their money from. So it's not anymore.
So I presume that the underlying economic problems haven't gone away. Things like deflation, the proper problems in the property sector, and so on. These problems are still there and have still got to be dealt with by Beijing.
Oh, I think these problems really need time to resolve. It was a bubble to begin with. And I think the reallocation of money from these sectors to middle class is a healthy development. Think about it. People are not borrowing money like before to purchase overvalued properties that they don't need. And they bought because they believed in a rising price. So now the household sector takes on less debt, has more spending power. Why is that a bad thing? Right? Over time, it's a good thing. We just need to walk down this inventory, this huge inventory. It takes years. And all these shadow bankers who basically were creating, we're not creating value. They actually added a negative value to the economy and got rich on it. These people need to go somewhere else.
And those losses are still there, aren't they, in the system? Someone's still got to take those losses.
I think that they don't want to walk away. They still believe that they can get something out of it. I doubt it. I think it's the best is for these guys to close shop and move on. And I think that obviously the state bank financial system will suffer losses too. But I think that it takes, give it 10 years, the bill can be paid.
10 years. So we're going to have to wait a while then.
Yeah. I think no property bubble problem gets resolved quickly. It's not likely.
So the next big event now is the two sessions, the 4th to 5th of March. What can we expect from that in terms of policy initiatives? Are we likely to see anything new, do you think, from that?
Well, I think that these the double sessions are not as important as before because now the system is run differently. It's much more concentrated. Power is much more concentrated, and it used to be like ministers were big shots. They would come out to make statements, almost like policy statements. Obviously, now ministers are just execution. They do execution. They really don't have any policy authority. So a big conference like that don't mean a lot anymore.
So what should we expect from the government? They still seem to be reluctant, don't they, to do any sort of monetary easing. We saw the MLF left unchanged yesterday. No. We've got the loan prime rate decision Tuesday, but it doesn't seem to be any sign of any monetary easing at all.
No, I think that the key is that the government understands if you waste a lot of money to revive the economy, it does not improve the country's security situation. Okay, and I think the Communist Party feels existential threat. That is really guiding its policies, and to some extent, it's really a good thing. if you waste money, trillions of dollars to revive the economy, what does that mean? You have a GDP. Is that a good GDP? But on the other side, you need to see concrete results in terms of technology self-reliance. So you can waste money there. And there you improve the country's security down the road. So I think the market is not getting the right because they are always praying for macro stimulus. It is not coming. It's just that the United States has basically made China's policy a priority. And the U.S.'s containment tactics are forcing the hand. So I don't think that you're going to see big stimulus like before. It's just going to be like that in terms of a macroeconomic situation.
So investors are going to be disappointed by the sounds of it then. And so where does all this market support, where does that fit in? Is that also sort of a waste of money? Because they seem to be spending a lot of money on buying ETFs, buying stocks to try and support the markets.
No, I think that's a very little, direct support is very little money, and mostly relying on financial institutions, like forcing mutual funds not to sell. And so this is a non-market tactic. I'm not sure that you can boost the confidence a little by showing that you care, right? But in terms of the amount of money involved, whatever amount of money involved is very small. We're talking about billions of dollars. If you want to get the macro going, we're talking about trillions of dollars, probably $10 trillion. So that is for China as a whole. Whatever they are doing via stock market is minimal.
Does it work at all anyway, even if you do provide large amounts of stimulus for the market? It only seems to have short-term benefits anyway. You get a rebound for a few days and then the market sells off again.
Yeah, and I think that it's just buying time to show that the government cares. So you guys should not all sell. I think the issue is that the selling pressure really comes from something called the Minsk effect, because the shadow banking system traps like a 50 trillion US dollar equivalent of assets, basically not liquid anymore. So if anybody who needs money, he's going to sell stocks to where there is still liquidity.
Right.
Actually, the property market is not liquid at this point. You just can't sell. A lot of people are sitting on these empty flats and investing in shadow banking. All these people, most rich people in China, were fully involved in the bubble economy. So now they have a liquidity pressure. So what are they going to sell? The only thing they can sell is stocks.
And I suppose at the end of the day, one of the big problems that the government, someone somewhere has got to try and deal with is deflation. There is still deflation in the economy.
Well, deflation per se is not a problem. Why the price is going down is a problem. And if it becomes a problem only if it's driven by declining money supply or shrinking money supply, and you get into companies going bust. That's not the case here. The money supply is still rising at 10%. So I think that the prices are going down partly due to supply catching up, partly due to good competition, like in the automobile sector, maybe a bit excessive at this point. But the car price is going down, that's a big part of this deflation story. And the pork price is going down. That's another big story. But both I don't see anything bad. Pork supply is going up. Why is that a bad thing?
Oh, okay. Well, it'll be interesting to see what they say when we do get to the two sessions. Andy, thank you very much indeed for your thoughts this morning. That's Shanghai-based independent economist Andy Scher.
You're listening to Peter Lewis's Money Talk. Money Talk.